I was very lucky in being in 3 successive unicorn journeys myself. And I'm probably one of the few people in the world that's had that luck to see that movie play out 3 times in a row. Most people only have that experience once, if ever, right? And so that's driven my passion to kind of start sharing this experience with people, because since just about everyone is new in this situation, they make a lot of rookie mistakes, or they take things in the wrong way, and they don't know the caveats that they need to watch out for. I started noticing the second time, and then in the third journey I started seeing, oh my God, this is all happening again, nightmare. I need to start spreading this knowledge with people and do some coaching. Also, I had found that in all these companies, whatever hat I was wearing, marketing, strategy, I always found myself drawn to coaching the CEO or the founder about how do we keep this zeal alive. And so I think I had a bit of a natural coaching tendency that now I decided to just make my job. I called this lecture From Startup to Unicorn, which is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, of course, right? But it is kind of describing the growth path of the dream, I would say, that most founders have. Like when you start off with that idea, and then how do you turn this into a business? How do you turn this into a growing business? And ultimately, how do you turn this into something that's really big and really valuable, but hopefully still a very different kind of company than the other traditional behemoths out there that, you know, have become boring and mediocre and stuff like that. So that's a little bit my passion as well. I'll talk a bit about my background in a second, but I really try to help founders combine that bigger scale of a more robust company with keeping that entrepreneurial zeal alive for as long as they can, right? And the combination is hard. It's very easy to stay entrepreneurial when you're just like 1 or 2 people in a garage, but to combine it with scale and with processes that, you know, still create a certain quality but still don't make it bureaucratic, that's the big challenge, right? So that's what I'm busy with, and that's why I like to come talk about this as well to audiences around the country when I happen to be in town. 4 parts that I want to cover today. One is, what is actually the difference between a startup and a scale-up? Why do we need to have yet another category of company? Second, in that scale-up phase, what is the roller coaster that most of these founders go through now? Every company is different, of course, I'll be making that point many times, but there are patterns and there are certain things that keep coming back in that movie I keep seeing. And I want to make you guys aware, because some of you will want to work in tech companies, some of you have worked in tech companies, some of you will be in fast growth companies, and some of this framework will be useful to you when you apply for jobs, when you work there, when maybe one of you will be coaching a CEO formally or informally on what's going to happen. The third part is about the capabilities that we see these scale-ups need to build up in rapid progression. What are all the new skills that these companies need to learn from the very first startup capability of finding product market fit, that famous iteration of knowing what product fits which market segment and who is willing to pay for it, as you read in the case. How does that then translate into all the other skills we need to build up, like learning to serve customers on their terms, learning to build distribution channels, learning to go deeper and deeper, other capabilities that come out there. And finally, what effect does that have, and what are the requirements of the leader of that scale-up? Typically founder, CEO. To what degree do they have the skills? To what degree do they want to acquire the skills to stay in charge and keep leading that company as it grows and as it becomes a different company altogether over time? Many founders believe that once they've reached that famous product market fit, everything will be well. That's the holy grail of all the startup literature out there. You read TechCrunch, you read the Lean Startup and all these other books. Once you reach product market fit, yay, you've made it. Well, that's not what this chart shows. What this chart shows is at every subsequent round of financing, you have a 50% chance of not raising it. Does that mean they're all failures? No. The key point here is the quote from Marshall Goldsmith that you see on the screen. What got you here won't get you there. Now, you guys have learned a lot about what it means to be an executive, what it means to be a CEO. You've also dealt with some of the psychological aspects of that, if IMD is still as good as it was when David and I were here, right? I think they've taught you that one of the hardest thing is to tell someone that what's made them successful is the exact thing they now need to change. Most people will automatically stick with what made them successful. Why would you give that up? Well, because your circumstances demand otherwise. This is the core of why so many of these companies fail, why the failure rate is so high, that the leaders in charge stick with what they know best or get confused and are unclear where they need to make the big change and how to guide the company in a new direction.